Hi.
Ellie and Tony, I thought you were alternating nights, but you're all in,
Well,
huh?
we just talked about it at first, and then I thought, with a couple of my providers in course, and I just thought it's a great way to support them. I can understand what they're learning, and as they have questions, I'll be there. So I gave Shelly the option, and she said she'd like to join some too.
So yeah, so I'll be here this week and next week, and then scheduling wise, I just can't be there the other times, but
No.
I wanted to at least get a sense of what was happening. And actually I already recommended this class to a couple of providers over in Broomfield. So yeah, I mean,
If you want to watch the other videos later on of the last few classes, you could always do it that way. Fit it in.
Okay, I didn't realize you guys, oh yeah, you're recording.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, it's a good thing, right?
Okay, good to know.
It lives forever, Shelly. This could be
Yeah,
really bad.
yeah, great.
And usually I have a group coaching session the third Thursday, but it got canceled. So this was the one that I was not supposed to be able to attend, but here I am.
Awesome.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
We're glad you guys are here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's nice.
How are you guys?
Doing well, thank you.
You have a good week?
Yes.
Hopefully it's our last week of snow, right? Hopefully
yes.
that's it.
Oh, Dawn, where do you think you live?
Come on.
Did you move to California and not tell us?
I
that
know
you
it's
didn't
not
have-
Mother's Day yet.
Yeah.
What can I say? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Marie-
we've got snow in June before, so
Yeah, it's raining right now here. Is it raining where you are, Marie? I'm probably the closest to
Yep.
you. No,
It's
no
raining
rain
where
for
I'm
you?
at.
No, it's not raining. It was raining right after lunchtime today, but that's all. It's really nice now.
Oh, good.
When we moved here in 1994, we lived in Monument, and my oldest daughter came out with her husband and the kids to visit and whatever in July. And it had rained down here in Monument, but it had snowed on Pikes Peak, and they went to the Pikes Peak run, with the cars, and it was snow everywhere. And I mean, it's July 4th. And
Yeah.
you're like,
Mhm.
Never know.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Well, Nancy, you want to just take it?
oh my God, so early. Okay.
Stop for jumping in.
Okay, so hang on a second. Give me a minute. All right. I didn't know I was doing it this quick. All
Well, you'll
right.
have to grab me some other
I
earphones.
figure you're the expert on all of this, so you get
I
to
think,
just
I
go.
think they have the charge.
Okay, so you're setting me up for failure right there.
No,
Okay.
no.
So hang on a second. All right.
There's there might be one pair in my purse.
I'm not setting you up for failure. I'm maximizing your time.
Oh, okay. We'll go with that. All right. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. All right. Here we go. Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
Mhm.
Yeah. It says Market Smart. Got it?
Yes,
Perfect.
now I got it.
Okay. So when I say market to you guys, what comes to your head?
Selling.
Okay, selling. When I say sell, what comes to your guys' head? Does it sound like fun? Are you
Mm.
afraid of it? What's going on? Somebody.
Mm.
I don't think anyone's here to be a salesman.
And what do we think of salespeople? You guys can take yourself off mute. It's okay. So what do you think of salespeople?
Pushy.
Yeah, they're going to make me buy something I don't want to buy. I'm going to spend more money than I was going to wanted to spend. I'm going to, all of those kinds of things. And so often it's really hard for us to, I have found in working with
They went to Lowe's to get the trees.
working with people this last 9.5 years, if I look at where their businesses, they struggled in two places. They struggled in marketing and sales, and they struggled on the accounting side.
Mhm.
Didn't struggle because they didn't have a good idea. They struggled because of those two things. Okay. So one of the things that I want to talk about is I want to talk about this whole idea of the entrepreneurial mindset. Okay. To begin with. So first I thought I should really introduce myself. So I did not think of myself as an entrepreneur. I spent over 20 years in corporate America. So my last position before we had our companies, I was the director of training for AAA for about 14 years. And about 12 years ago, a friend of mine said, in fact, that friend of mine you'll meet next week, but that friend of mine said, wouldn't it be great if? And I said, starting our own business, how hard can that be? Right? I've been doing all this hard stuff for so long. Starting a business can't be that rough. And we actually started our business a month before the crash in 2008. So needless to say, it was a rough start. Okay. And in 2009, and we did what I'm going to tell you guys not to do. We did what no one should do. We just started and jumped because we were awesome and kind and brilliant and wonderful, and who was not to love? And that was how we were going to do this. And in 2009, it was apparent that that strategy was not going to work well. And so we actually, just like today, just like in 2020, there were grants and there were all kinds of opportunities to possibly get free money. Then it was more dedicated to startups, whereas this time it's been dedicated more to keeping people in business who are already in business. And a lot of companies actually were doing grants or contests and giving away free money. So QuickBooks was giving away free money to one startup in every state. And we decided to apply. And what they required to even be considered for that funding was we had to submit a business plan, which meant I actually had to write one. So that was a new concept. And then the second thing we had to do is we had to tell them that show them we had executive background in order to execute. We had that. And then we had to show them that our business model, because it was 2009, would actually hire people, because that was really important in 2009. We actually won. They sent us free money. It was awesome. I would love to tell you, because I'm awesome and brilliant and kind and wonderful, we spent that money totally wisely. And that would be a bit of a stretch. Okay. And it's not because we were stupid, it's because we just didn't know. So about the same time as all this was going on, I go to the office one day, and by then I'm really regretting leaving my cushy job at that time. And my business partner, Susie, says, I set us up an appointment with a business consultant. And I said, we have no money. Have you looked at our bank account? We can't afford a business consultant. And she says, no. It's in this place called the SBDC and it's free. I said, okay. We went and we went to consulting. We took classes, not just classes on one thing. We took classes on lots of different things. And by 2011, we were one of the 3 finalists for Emerging Business of the Year in Denver. We own that company still, and we own a second company. And because I taught and I consulted all my life, it was really easy for me to begin to teach and consult at the SBDC. So that's how I got here. If you would have, and I was not a spring chicken when I started this. So age has nothing to do with anything. It has more to do with what's in your head. And so I want to talk to you guys about this whole idea of mindset. So here's the definition. I love this definition of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is the recognition and pursuit of an opportunity without regard to the resources you currently control. That means that you have a vision. That means that you have a dream. It also means that even though you may not start there, that's where you want to finish, okay? With the confidence that you can succeed. If you don't believe in yourself, how are you going to get other people to believe in you? It just doesn't work that way. So believing you can do it is much easier said than done. And if anybody says to you they never had any doubts, they're not telling you the truth. There were days I looked in the mirror and I thought, this was the smartest thing I've ever done. There were other days I've looked in the mirror and said, what was I thinking? I must have been out of my mind. Okay. So it will waver, but you need to have that core where you believe in yourself, with the flexibility to change course as necessary. The vision we had for our first company is nothing like the vision of what it is today. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. It is, but it changed and it was flexible and we moved with the times. Okay, because if you can't pivot, I always tell people your middle name, I don't care what name your mother gave you, it needs to be pivot. Because you're going to have to adjust, you're going to have to change, because if you don't, that's why most companies fail. So, and with the will to rebound from setbacks, they will be setbacks. They are not, you cannot avoid them. So this is the part that you just have to accept and know is part of the territory and move forward. The biggest killer in the entrepreneurial mindset, people thrive in bad economies. They go through, there's people who've gone through, I don't know how many business failures before they got successful. What you can't happen, or the biggest thing killer of it, is doubt in yourselves, our surroundings, and oops, I had a spell check there, our abilities. Sally's self-doubt lives in your head. Sally's self-doubt has been with you ever since you grew big enough to understand the concept of failure. There are some days where you need to tell Sally, and you have a choice. You have a choice to determine, you can't get rid of her. She's going to be with you till the day you die. What you can do is determine how much real estate you're going to give her in your head. And that becomes a personal choice. But you need to really recognize that voice in your head that sometimes says, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough to do this. It's too hard. I don't understand all the rules. It's complicated, whatever. You need to really listen to, or not listen to, Sally, because Sally has no good news for you. So what is the entrepreneurial mindset, and how does it differ from the employee mindset? So there's a book out there called The E-Myth. Actually, there's a second one called The E-Myth Revisited. And it was written quite some time ago by a guy named Michael Gerber. And he really hit it on the head. He said that the problem for most entrepreneurs is they still think like an employee. As an employee, we're given rules. We're given a job description. We're given, and if we stay in that job description and we show up most days for work and we're nice to most of our coworkers and we're nice to most of the customers, we get a raise at the end of the year. But we must stay in our lane. Some of you may have experienced when you were an employee, you made a suggestion for another department or something like that, and you got told either politely or impolitely to stay in your lane because that was not your job. And then some of those people that are we call them technicians, employees, they're good at their job, they're good at their skill, they're good at what they do. And then we turn around and take our good people from there and we promote them into management. Have any of you worked for anybody who should never have been promoted to a manager? They didn't like people. They thought the reason they got promoted is because their way was the only way to do something. When you're a manager, you manage people and you manage systems. Well, if you're doing this from home, if you're running a center, you're a manager for doggone sure, because you're managing either yourself or the schedule or a team of people. And then the next step is where most people don't go. The next step is I'm going to create my own company. I'm going to make my own rules. I'm going to set all the systems up myself. I'm going to create my own marketing strategy. I'm going to do all of this. Very few of us ever do that. And that is really uncharted territory for a majority of us. So you're going to be asked to overcome challenges. You're also going to be asked to be decisive. And you need to get better at being decisive with data, decisive with information, not just it feels this way or my feeling goes this way. It's really about why am I making that choice? What are the pros? What are the cons? And then once you make that choice, you accept the responsibility for the outcome. One of the things that I missed as an employee when I worked for AAA, if there was a problem in my department, I couldn't blame it on the account. I could blame it on the accounting department. Now I look in my own business and I'm the accounting department. I'm the marketing department. I'm all of those departments. So I have to take the responsibility for those things. And then understand that continuous learning is a part of who you are. Because things will change, new technology comes out, trends come out, markets change, all of those things change. You can't keep operating the same way, the same place. If any of you remember Blockbuster, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix for almost nothing. And the CEO said, that will never work. That's called an oops moment. Okay, and they paid for it dearly. So, and take action. Doing nothing is not an option. You want to take action because you can self-correct. But if you take action, if you don't take action, you don't move forward. So, when we talk marketing and we talk marketing plan, you have to give people a reason to choose you because they have options. So what is going to make them choose you over your competition? So we're going to talk about that. So the first thing it starts with is what we call the awareness channel. I can't buy from you if I don't know you exist. So part of this is going to be figuring out what my plan is and then how I'm going to actually execute it. Are there going to be costs to that? What are those costs? How will I pay for them? How will I absorb them? Okay. So the awareness channel is just your letting people who should know you exist. And then even if they know you exist, you have to give them a reason or reasons to choose you. If you think about it, if you think about what happens in the childcare industry, and you guys are going to know this better than me, but people have different reasons for needing childcare. They may have just had a new baby and now mom's going back to work. And so for the first time, they're looking for childcare. They may be at a childcare place where they're not comfortable. They want to make a change. They don't, it's not compatible for them. They maybe have just moved into the area or got a new job that's in a different area that has made their current place, which they love, just no longer convenient. So you have to know all of those things and say, how do I let people know that we can fill those gaps, that we can help them? So when you think marketing, there's three parts to it. There's the plan, there's the strategy, and there are the tactics. Can somebody tell me where Facebook fits in there? Which of those categories?
The
It's a-
strategy.
Say that again.
The strategy.
It's actually the tactics.
The tactic. Yeah.
Because that's how you're going to get it done at the end. You know what you're going to use. But what happens is, and this is really common, we start with the tactics before we know who and how we're going to market. And so then we do Facebook and we join groups and we do different things and we're on different social media and we wonder why it doesn't work. And it usually doesn't work because we don't have a strategy or a plan in place to execute. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about how marketing has changed. Dawn, I can't see you, but I know you're there. Okay, do you remember the Marlboro Man?
Yes.
Okay, when we had the Marlboro Man.
Hey, wait a minute. Why are you asking just me? I'm not the oldest person in the
I
room.
knew you were there. Okay.
Say
All
it.
right.
I remember him too.
And I know some, and I also know some of the
Okay.
youngers will not get it. Okay. So who was the Marlboro Man? What was their whole strategy? What do you think?
Cigarettes.
The cigarette, they sold cigarettes, and who sold the cigarettes?
Cowboy.
A cowboy, rugged looking hawk, right?
Yeah.
And he looked cool. He looked cool. He looked like he could handle everything. As a, and you, Mr. Guy, who is watching that, you want to be like Mr. Hunk that's getting all the women. What do you need to do? You need to have a Marlboro in your hand. Okay. Just as a point of reference, they all died from lung cancer.
I was gonna say I'd want to
Yes.
be the pre
Every one of
Marlboro,
them,
not the
every one
post
of them died of
Marlboro.
lung cancer. Every one of them. Okay. So in that era, we would tell you what you needed to do. And you would say, yes, I need that. It was very direct, very pushy. It was the Mad Men strategy. That's how we used to market. That has totally turned itself on its ear. Now, if we look how marketing happens, if you look at Amazon, actually was one of the first to do this. Amazon allowed people who bought the product to make a review on the product. And a lot of people, when they did that, they said, you guys are nuts. That's a killer. You're going to have everybody telling everybody how much they hate this product and you guys will go broke. It appears that Amazon has done okay. So the idea was, I am now listening to strangers. I don't know those people that are making those reviews, but I am taking their opinion. I am listening to the customer, not the guy that's telling me the product. That has turned it on its ear on how we communicate, how we buy things, why we buy things. It is very different. So if you look at your marketing strategy is how do I attract the ideal customer, right? We're going to talk about ideal customer, but an ideal customer is the person that would most matches what you deliver. Okay, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Brand strategy is this whole idea. Brand is promise. If you think about any of the things that you buy, brands that have been around for a long time, what do they promise? Because if they don't, that is what they spread out. That is their message. That is how they get people as attention. That's how they get people to remember them. And then the third thing is how are you going to deliver that promise? Because people expect consistency. If you promise something and then you don't deliver it, what happens when people break their promises? How do we feel? Right? We feel let down. We feel like we didn't get the value of what we thought we were going to do. It feels broken. So today, marketing has really changed. Another place it has changed is we know more about the companies that we buy from today. We have the ability through social media and other ways to know what they stand for. And so some of us are what we call value buyers. There are companies that I choose to spend money at, and there's companies that I will not walk in the door. And it has nothing to do with their product. I can tell you that there's one that I will never go in because I know how they treat their employees. And it does not make me happy. So I choose not to give my money to them. So we have opportunities to choose now. We have more options. That's good and that's bad, but I will tell you what is important for you as a business owner to understand your word counts. That is your brand. If you say you are organized, you better be what? Organized. If you say you are timely, you better be what? Timely. Any of those things you say you are or your business is, you need to make sure that you've got something in place. If you're a center, is do you have the people or the structure in place that make sure it gets delivered? Because if you employ people, those people represent you. And if they make a mistake, who gets blamed? You do. So it's really important that all of this is consistent. So effective marketing is not an option. It has to be done. Okay, if you don't, it will be difficult for you to get where you want to go, wherever that is. Okay, so when we think marketing plan, you're going to need to think about, and we'll get into this, but you're going to need to think about who is your target market? What ages are they? Is the person that the parents, what are they looking for that you provide? Is there a match? And then you need to think about what your unique selling point is. Okay, so let me give you an example. So I told you that we own two businesses. One of them is an accounting company. Okay, I am not the accountant. My business partner is and our people. So don't ask me any QuickBooks questions because I cannot answer them. Okay, but I can talk about the money. But I can read the reports, but I can't do the QuickBooks. But when we were naming our company, the reason we chose the name of our company is because we wanted it to be part of our brand. So the name of our company is APUS Business Solutions. That says nothing about accounting. Nothing. The word APUS is actually Latin for honeybee. And we believe it takes a hive of professionals to help small business owners grow and prosper. So our logo is a bee that has no stinger, because everybody's afraid of what? Accountants. They're afraid they're going to go to an accountant or a CPA or somebody that does the numbers, and that person is going to say, what were you thinking? Oh my gosh, you are so messed up. People are afraid they're going to hear that. And we wanted to be friendly, fun accountants, which is very different from the image that most of us have for accountants. And so our tagline was, we take the sting out of accounting and bookkeeping. So we would go to, in the beginning, we would go to like different events and whatever, and we'd have a table or whatever. And Susie's hair was long. I had short hair. Susie had long hair, and she would do her hair up in a beehive, right? And then we would have like little honey sticks organic honey sticks, and we would punch our business cards in 2 holes, and we'd stick the honey sticks from there, and we'd say, would you guys like some honey? And then we would get called a year later, and a person would say, I've had that on my desk for a year. And I knew and today I've had it. I got to talk to you guys. So finding a way to make yourself memorable. What are you trying to let people know? That's what logos are. That's what brands are. When you think of famous brands, you think of certain things. McDonald's for years was the Golden Arches, right? McDonald's did not market to parents. They marketed to children who have parents. And they would ask, where do you want to go tonight, sweetie? And the answer would be what? McDonald's. Because it had a playground, it had this, it had that. At one time it had Ronnie, it had the whole thing, right? So they knew who their market was, and they talked to that market. So why should someone choose you? What makes you special? And we're going to talk more about that, but what makes you stand out from everybody else? I want you guys to start looking at your competition. I want you guys to pull up those websites. I want you to look at flyers. I want you to take them apart. And I want you to read them from a marketing perspective. Okay. So the image is who you are. So we got Miss Harper over here. And Miss Harper she's putting up front what is important to her. She's saying loving Christian home environment with personalized care and 30 years of experience. She's putting it right out there in front, okay, what you can expect from her. She provides a nurturing, fun, and safe environment for children to socialize, learn, and grow for 30 years now. So as she's got expertise, she's got experience under her belt. She's grandma. Okay. Her loving Christian home is located in a gated community that says what? Where these kids are is what?
Safe.
Safe. Okay. And she has reasonable and affordable rates, all ages, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But she's very clear about who she is. So people can look at that and they can say, is that a match? Is it not a match? Because if it's not a match, it's just not Miss Harper's customer. It's not who that wouldn't fit. So when you think of what you want to be, I always think of AAA did an amazing job with this. So AAA, when you think of AAA, their motto was safety, security, and peace of mind. That's it. Every business line AAA has to be safety, security, and peace of mind. Road service, safety, security, peace of mind. They sell insurance, safety, security, peace of mind. You can buy a car from them, safety, security, peace of mind. You can travel with them, safety, security, peace of mind. It gets real easy to sell when you have a message that permeates throughout everything you do. So consistency becomes really, really important. But once you figure this out, it gets much easier, okay? And I will tell you that I'll have Hannah, you guys can have access to this PowerPoint. I took the time to put notes, a bunch of notes in the notes part. So that's all there for you too. So when we think of selling, it all comes down to gains and pains. If you think about why people buy, they buy either for a gain or they buy to relieve a pain. There's not a lot in the middle. So you really need to get in your customer's shoes, not yours. Yours don't count. It is, what does your customer need? What does your customer want? And then you need to figure out how you're going to address that. And you're going to fix that. So the easiest way for me to explain pains and gains is a few years ago, I got a call, well, it was actually on Facebook. I got a Facebook from a friend from kindergarten. I was one of those lucky kids that went with school with the same kids all my life, all the way through high school, okay? And she called me and she said, you know, the big high school reunion's happening this year. Why don't you fly out back to I was raised in Southern California. Why don't you come back home? You can visit mom, you can visit, you know, your brothers and whatever, and we'll just have a wonderful girls' weekend. What do you think about that? That was in February. The reunion wasn't until September, the end of September. And I'm thinking, oh, geez, do I want to see all those people? I don't know. Do I really want to do that? You know, kind of thing. And finally, it seems so far away. And the first thought, one of the thoughts in my mind is, you know, I can lose 30 pounds by then. That shouldn't be a problem. Because I'm thinking everybody I'm going to see 40 years later is skinny. Okay. And so I need to lose some weight, but I got time. It's February. So I sign up, I get plane tickets. So now I'm committed. And then all of a sudden it's August. And guess what? I haven't lost. Those dang 30 pounds are still hanging around. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're all going to look so good. And I'm going to have to go back. And oh my God, this is going to be horrible. Ah, geez. So I go to the store because I got to buy some clothes. And they had set up where they were going to do a barbecue before there was our meet and greet barbecue before the football game, the homecoming football game. They were having it, whatever. So I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to have to wear a pair of jeans. I hate jeans. Okay, so I'm going to have to go get some jeans. So now I'm standing there in front of the store and I'm looking at this row of jeans and I'm looking at the tags. And there's a tag there that says, this pair of jeans, because it's made from material that they figured out how to do it from something that happened when they were on the moon. I don't know, whatever. And I put them on and it will make you look 15 pounds lighter. I am in. I don't give a darn they're $25 more than everything else on that rack. Okay, because I got a problem. So I got a pain. So I go try them on. I say, oh, these fit. Okay, these will do. I think I do look a little thin. Then I go home. And I've been married to this guy forever, since I was 18. So I try on the jeans and he knows the score. And so he said, oh, those look really nice. And have you lost some weight? Bingo. Okay, I'm in. And so then I pack and I go to California and then I realize that everybody else is chunky like me and we're okay. And that's okay. I have a great time. But I was not buying those jeans for anything other. I wasn't buying jeans. I was buying confidence. It happened to come in the package of jeans, but it was confidence. understanding what your people want. What are their fears? When your clients are thinking about where they are putting their child, what are some of their fears? Somebody give me some of their fears.
Are they safe?
Yes, absolutely. That's probably primary. Okay, what else?
Will they learn anything?
Will they learn anything? Is there any kind of education here, or is it just going to be sitting and watching the TV? Right? What else?
Are you being attentive to their needs?
And what does that look like?
Like if they're hungry or if they're crying a lot, are you going to pay attention to them, or are you just going to keep looking over them, or just bypassing them, or putting them in the room?
Is my child special to you? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. What else? Anything else they're afraid of?
Do they trust you, period?
Do they trust? And trust is a big word, and you have to give them a reason to trust you. We just don't trust people just because, usually, right?
Yeah.
What are their, sorry.
Can you
go ahead.
can you pass any background checks?
That's exactly. Okay. What makes me believe you're safe? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What would give me that information? If you think about gains, what you are doing is a gain for a parent. Well, if they know that their child is in safe hands and they're being treated well, okay, and some of those other things, then they can concentrate on what?
Work and making money.
That's right. Okay, to take care of the family, right?
Mhm.
Because they're not worried every 5 minutes what's happening or what's happening to their child.
Mhm.
Right? So a gain for them is peace of mind, is giving them peace of mind. And part of this, talking about this, is you're going to start saying, what are the things I have to do so they know these things? Because you can't assume that everyone knows, because they don't. So how are you going to tell them? So you always ask yourself, what I always call it, I say this all the time to people, you got to fix the things that are keeping you up at night. If you don't fix those things, you're not going to get any sleep. If you're worried about your taxes and you haven't done them, guess what you need to do? The taxes, so you can sleep at night. If you're worried about something else and you're staying up night worrying about it, fix it. So you need to understand for your customer what's keeping them up at night. What are their primary concerns? Because they're going to rate those things. It's safety, it's education, but those have a rating. For different people, those come in different orders of what they're concerned about. So one of the ways to look at this is how you start, and we do 10-week classes on this, so I'm giving you the really quick idea of how all this works. But for you to understand how you start to create what we call your value proposition. Your value proposition is your message. Okay, it's what catches people's attention. So customer jobs here, that's what they need to get done. They need to be able to get to work. It needs to be convenient. It needs to be, whatever the jobs are, things they have to get done. All right. When we talk pains are those things that are keeping them up at night. And the gains are the gains that are making them feel that everybody's safe and everything's good. Okay. But you got to know what people want, and then you need to know what they perceive as pains and gains. So this other side, you look at your services and you say, okay, I have products and services. If all of you have a cell phone, okay, that cell phone, at least what they tell me, that cell phone has the same, more computer, whatever, than they did to the guys landing on the moon in 1969. Okay. It's got tons of features. These cell phones do all kinds of things. And I'm going to tell you right now, I really don't care. All I care about are the ones that make my life easy. I don't care about the 100 things it does. I care about the 5 things it does that makes my life easy. So that's, you stop selling features. We do this, this, and those. Those are features. And you start selling benefits. How I'm going to feel about it, how it's going to make me think. Because I expect the features. I expect if someone goes in to buy insurance, they expect that an insurance policy will protect them. They expect that you know how to get them an insurance policy. They expect that if you ask questions, if they ask questions, you will know the answers. Those expectations are features. They will only get you a C. That's the best you're going to get on features. But if I go in to buy an insurance policy and you have found ways to get me more of those features for less money, that has helped my budget. If you have mentioned a type of insurance that maybe protects a collection that I have been working on for years, and I never thought to protect it extra, but if I would lose it, it would devastate me. Now I know I can get that, and if I get that, I feel safer walking out. You've given me more than I asked for. And you exceeded those things by telling me how these things would actually benefit me. So for instance, in your industry, are there people who do childcare who aren't licensed?
Yeah.
Yep, sure are. Okay. Do all parents know what kind of licensing you go through?
No.
Then why would they value it? So in the materials that you give that person when they go through a walkthrough, what should be part of those materials?
Certifications.
And not just certifications. What the heck do they mean? Right? What does that do for me that going to an unlicensed facility doesn't? What can I count on? I can count on that you guys are going to be inspected.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you remember the Good Housekeeping seal of approval? Okay, and it was that little sticker that went on and said, Good Housekeeping, which was a magazine, Good Housekeeping approves. When you guys see a AAA sticker on a hotel, what do you think about that hotel, even if you're not a member of AAA? That it's met certain what? Standards. So think about that when you're putting this together, and when you're putting your materials together. Don't assume people know the value of these things. You guys had to work really hard for those certifications. You have to jump through a whole lot of hoops to do what you do. You need to let people know that and know the value of that. So, you guys remember these guys? Okay, so we've got, this was Allstate's campaign. So we have Mayhem Men. How many of you remember the commercials with Mayhem Men? Oh my God, you see him coming, you know things are bad. Okay, the last person you want to see, the last thing you want to see is mayhem in your car, or he's running over your yard lawn, or whatever he's doing. He's causing you a problem. And then you have who? You are in good hands, man. Okay, the message with Allstate was protection from Mayhem Man comes from where? The good hands man, and they're all Allstate. So you are in good hands, safety. When my daughter burned down my kitchen 20 years ago, I got to tell you, the first thing in my head was, as we were driving around the corner and the fire department was in front of our house, okay, is, oh my God, what is in my insurance policy? Am I going to be covered, right? So this whole life for insurance, and they did it with fun. I hate commercials. I love the Mayhem Man. I think he's cool. I love him. And you remember him. He's memorable. That whole character is memorable. Okay? So part of this is, how do you make yourself memorable? Because if I don't remember you, I can't buy from you. So what do your customers care about? So let's look at this. Here's a flyer. Tell me what you think of this flyer.
It doesn't tell you anything about their values or what they represent. There's no brand with it.
Nope. There's nothing. It's just the features, right? They have openings because they're now enrolling. Here's our hours. Doggone, don't be late. Okay. Monday through Friday, before and after care. These are the kids we take, and these are the ones we don't. And that's it. Is there anything in here that has anything to do with it being a creative learning academy?
No.
So why would I believe it? Right? So let's look at this one. So these are all like this. This is just a template. You can get these templates for free online. And you can play with them, because you see in the middle here, it doesn't have a language you understand, and that's because they didn't fill out that part. Okay, but that's just the space they're saving for you to fill out. So, but first glance, what do you see here?
Fun.
Fun. What else?
Happy children.
Happy children. Real
Engaged
children.
children,
Not drawings, right? Real children.
right? Engaged children.
Engaged children. They put what first? Looking for a place where your child can learn and grow at their own pace. So if my child is not as fast as some other child, guess how I feel about that atmosphere? If my child is having some learning issues, how do I feel about that being a safe place where they will be treated with respect, right? A place filled, not has, but is filled with adventure and where crafts fuel creativity. Do you seek an environment where your little one is safe to explore and discover? Not just safe because they're in a playpen, but safe to explore and discover. Look no further. Your lucky day. You have found the answer to your issue. So, and do you see all the bright colors, right? But there's still a lot of white space. White space makes those colors stand out. So you tell me, which of those preschools would you choose?
This one for sure.
Yes, that one for sure. I was amazed when I started Googling and looking at templates and stuff. There's all kinds to choose from. It's amazing. Okay. Amazing. So, and this is not going to play. This is really cool. It played this morning and now it's not going to. Okay. So I have a video in here, but I'll tell you what she says. Okay. So this woman runs a daycare and she's talking about different strategies to use. So you guys run the gamut because you've got the ones at home and then you have centers. All right. Those of you who, oh, there it goes. Oh, it's going to play. Okay. I clicked the right button. Maybe. Hang on. It's thinking.
Do you turn off your video, Nancy? Sometimes that helps.
Yeah, if I turn it off. Oh,
Yeah, if
here,
you stop video.
okay. Okay, here we go.
So I think the other trick is you have to have a speaker by
Say
your.
that, what? Say that,
Yeah.
what?
You might have to have I know when I do pre-licensing class, I have to put a speaker by my computer for when I
I
play
don't have
video.
that.
Okay.
Okay, that was I haven't had done this before. So can you guys hear it at all or not?
No.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to speak for her. Who knew? Because I can't. Okay, so one of the things she says is you can do simple things. So you can do, some of you can do flyers. You can do where you saw the one where they could pull it off, right? It's posted somewhere. There are, and we're going to talk about how to find these people and where to do it. But for instance, if you leave flyers or whatever at a local hair salon, who goes into a hair salon? Women. Women go into hair salons, right?
Yeah.
So you go to a local hair salon and you're a business owner just like she is, and you say, would you mind? If they do, then you just don't do it, right? But where is your customer going to be that they might see what you do? If you live in a so for those of you in home care, if you live in a neighborhood that has a center, that has a community board, what can you do? You post it there. But you make it, that's why you use those little tabs, because those little tabs, they can just what?
Yeah.
Pull off and take home with them, right? If you, when you are doing your walkthrough, when you take people through your walkthrough, what you're going to do is you're going to do, I want you to really think about what's in that packet. And what do people need to know, and what do you need to let them know is in it? So I think you need to do something about how, and this is regardless of the size of your organization, the licensing piece. I think you need to let them know a little bit about, and when you're talking to them, give them a little bit of your background. What have you been doing? What makes you love children? Why are you here? Okay. You can, for instance, if you are at a, well, maybe I shouldn't tell you, where could you let people know who you are? Where could you do that?
On our website?
Say that again?
On our website?
On your website, yeah, but then you're assuming everybody's going to be there, right? So you got to get them there first, right?
Yeah.
Facebook. I didn't hear that. Say it again.
Facebook.
Facebook. What has been your guys' experience on Facebook? Tell me what your experience has been.
We use a lot of Facebook. There's a lot of like mom groups for the different areas, different neighborhoods where you might live, or different school districts. And that has been like dynamite for us in
I agree.
finding new people.
I agree. So when you think about it, are there mom meetups everywhere, right? Before COVID, I know there were a lot, so I'm assuming they're going to come back, right? So you got a lot. So have you ever, you know what mom meetups like to have? They like to have a speaker. So you call them and you say, I'd love to come and speak to you about here's one. I would love to come and speak to you to talk about what questions you should ask your child care provider and what type of answers you should get. What have you just given them?
curiosity.
That's exactly it. And you've given them power, because now you've given them, you're saying to them, I don't only just want you to know what questions you need to ask. These are the things, the answers you should be getting, because if you're not getting these answers, guess what it might be? A red flag. And you get a chance to be in front of them for 20 minutes, a half hour, and you tell them what you do, and they get a chance to find out if they like you or not before you go any further.
It actually speaks to the transparency of your business.
You're absolutely right.
The fact that you are willing to answer questions to them in general about the industry without necessarily having made a sales pitch, so to speak.
That's exactly it. And you're giving, and you're also educating them, right? And so with, and you just leave your flyers, but you have that amount of time to build a relationship with them that you can't build on Facebook, that you can't build on your website. Okay. And you get to be seen, start to be, I would trust that lady. We talk about transparency. If somebody's transparent with me, I tend to what? Trust them.
Build trust.
That's right.
You know, one other thing that I wanted to say.
Go ahead, Bill.
When you asked the questions before about where should you be targeting, I was thinking in my mind, as a business owner, I actually have stuff in my car and I take it everywhere, because I've kind of learned that we have to get out of the habit of having a preconceived notion about people and assuming that you know anything, because a potential customer can be anywhere. And it's about keeping your eyes and ears open, because sometimes just in casual surrounding, you can hear things that somebody may be saying to someone, or you can observe a situation that will give you the end to approach that person about how you can fill a need, as you said.
Absolutely.
By being observant and paying attention in your surroundings. So it's always good to have your flyers or business cards or brochures or whatever in the trunk of your car available somewhere in your pocketbook, where you could just pass it out to them and have them get back with you at a more convenient time.
And some of those are the most amazing opportunities. To give you an example, this has nothing to do with childcare. I had a student who had an invention, and it was called the mag belt, and it was a really cool belt. When I first met him as a student, I thought, haven't we done everything we could possibly do with belts at this point? I mean, what else could we do, right? And he had a really cool belt, and he went through class, and we were able to help him with his product shots and do all of that. But if you're an inventor, you have to be able to get money to produce the product. And no bank will loan you any money to produce a product that they don't know will sell. Doesn't happen. And so after class, he was really discouraged. He came in to see me and he says, I don't think I'm ever going to get this off the ground. And I said, okay, Devin, and he doesn't mind me sharing this story. So I said, Devin, what do you do for a living right now? How are you paying the rent? And he says, I'm driving for Lyft. I said, so that means strangers who might have money, strangers who might know someone with money, get in your car every day. And he said, yes. And I said, so here's the deal. I said, you don't need to sell me. I'm in. You don't need to sell your mother. She's in. So you're going to put that belt around the visor, and you're going to promise me that you're going to tell at least 10 people a week about that belt. He says, I'm going to do that. And he did it for less than 5 weeks. And he did it. And one night, a guy calls, he gets called to pick up a guy at 2 o'clock on a Sunday morning of a downtown bar. I'm sure the first thought in his head was, I hope the guy doesn't throw up in my car. The second one was he goes and he picks the guy up. Young guy jumps in the car. And Devin's 28. And so he jumps in the car and the guy says, hey, dude. And I'm like, what do you do? Devin says, I make belts. And the guy says, let me look at that. That's really cool. Oh my goodness, how come you haven't got this to market? He says, I can't get the money to do it. He says, I know a guy. And you guys can look this up online. You can look under Magbelt Kickstarter, MAGBELT Kickstarter. And you will see that he gave those two guys a small piece of his company that was worth nothing at that point. And they did a Kickstarter. The Kickstarter, you'll see the video, and it's a great way to learn how to sell. They did the program, they were asking for $7,500. They raised $583,000. And then they did a second one on Indigo 3 months later and raised $603,000. He has a manufacturing plant down in Denver, and he makes more than just Magbelt. That would have never happened if he hadn't done what Berlinda said is what? Ask. That is the power of asking and paying attention. But there's tons of opportunities for us to do that. So let's talk about market research. And these will all be available to you guys, okay? So some of you or all of you are in a neighborhood of some sort, right? You all got a established place, right? So some of your clients are going to come from that area. Most people, I'm going to guess, and you guys will probably know better than me, they're either going to have someplace convenient to their home or convenient to their work. Oftentimes it's convenient to their home because dad and mom can each go by and pick up the kids rather than just by mom's work or dad's work, okay? So the Denver Public Library spends thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing research that nobody knows they have, that is totally available to you for free with your free library card. Now, what is even better is, and there's a link down here, and Hannah will send you this link too, is the one downtown on 14th Street. Their third floor, for years prior to COVID, was dedicated to business, and they have business librarians. These librarians know more about stuff than anybody else in the world. I swear to goodness, okay? I learned more about white bread from one of them than I ever wanted to know in my entire life. Okay, so they know stuff and they know where to find stuff. So you would make an appointment with them. You can click this on and you can make an appointment. You're going to tell them that you are a student at the SBDC. Okay? You're going to, and then, because they give you become a VIP. You get in faster, all right? They save slots for us. And then you're going to say, I have a child care center. I am doing child care at my home. This is the address. I am looking for people who need child care in my area. Okay. So they're going to do some research for you before you ever see them. They're going to set up a Zoom appointment with you. Okay. So they'll set up a meeting with you. They will give you some of the research and share with you the research they've done for you. But then they're going to show you all of the databases that are available. So one database is you can go in and say, I am looking for people with children. They look for childcare or by whatever you put it in, and the librarian can help you do this. Put in key things. And up will pop names and addresses of everybody who has searched for childcare, who has looked for it in your area, all of it. So now you can go to Vista Print, and for not very much money, guess what you can print up? You can print up some postcards with whose addresses? Those addresses. And then you say, hey, you know, we're in the area, then you make it, you know, do the thing we're going to be talking about in a minute. How do I sell the benefit, right? Kind of thing. And then you offer, you're going to do an open house. You're going to do a, please call and schedule a visit. And maybe there's a slight discount for the first week. Okay. But you're not sending it to people who don't have who?
Children.
That's right. Of certain ages. Names and addresses. So, and you can also in the library, you can look yourself up and you can find out what everybody's got on YouTube. Okay. It's scary, but it's true. Okay. So they are amazing. You can look up your competition. You can just pull up all the centers in your area doing childcare. Now you can go look at their websites and you can say, that is awesome what they put on their website. And if it's awesome, what are you going to do? You're going to copy the heck out of it. Okay. And you may look at it and you're going to say, that's really stupid. I'm not going to do that. So you have access to all of this information with your library card. So then, and I already sent them to Dawn and I gave them to Hannah. There's something called IBIS World Reports. So IBIS is a huge organization. And basically what they do is they do industry reports. So they collect data on all kinds of industries. And then they put together these reports. And these reports say, this is what this industry's done the last 5 years in revenue. This is what we expected to do in the next 5 years. This is where the money's now being spent. These are the trends. This is what people are looking for. It does SWOT analysis, which are strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities to that type of industry. They do, for instance, they will do a budget. And that budget will say, especially for those of you with centers, it will say 20% gets spent on rent, 30% gets spent on average, gets spent on, until I've been talking all day, gets spent on personnel. And then you guys look at your budgets and you say, are we in that percentage? These reports normally cost between $1,500 and $2,000 a piece. However, your lucky day. The Colorado SBDC spends about $35,000 a year so I can have secret code, which means I downloaded them. So I downloaded one for daycare. So that's those of you at home. Early childhood learning centers, those are you have centers. And just because I could, I threw in the one with franchises. These reports are anywhere from 35 to 50 pages a piece. What's that going to give you? It's going to give you what? Somebody
Data.
tell me. Huh?
Data.
Data. And this is the same. So those of you who are centers, or you think one day I want to be a center or whatever, and you think I want to go, I'll have to go get a business loan. That's where these banks want to see this information coming from. Our industry reports like this, because they believe them. Okay, so something for you to have. The other thing I'm going to have Hannah or have available for you is the Colorado Resource Book. The Colorado Resource Book is all about business. It is written by the state of Colorado. So it has everything about LLCs, S Corps, all that stuff, sales tax license, any other kinds of license. It has all the names and addresses and all the websites of all of the powers that be and explanations of those things in that 75 pages. So you can believe the information in there. So it goes through the process of how do I set up my business? Why would I choose to be an LLC rather than a sole proprietor? Okay, what does that mean? What kind of insurance? Okay, all of that is in that 75 pages. It is a wealth of information. This is the business side of your business. Has nothing to do with childcare. It's the business side of your business. Any questions about this so far? Okay. So let's look at your marketing materials. So you can do your website. If you don't have a website, you need to get one. Because a website is like a business card used to be. If I hear about you, if I pick up one of your flyers, what's the first thing I'm going to do when I get home?
Go.
Yeah.
I'm
Go to
going to
the
look you
website.
up. I'm going to look you up, and I'm going to be able to tell a lot about you by your website. So it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it is not something you can't have. It establishes you as a business. And like I say, now that you can find all these other centers, what are you going to do? You're going to look at their websites and copy the good stuff, right? So you're going to have, are you doing any kind of promotions? Be it an open house, be it a special of some sort, whatever it is. Flyers in the industry work really well, especially for the neighborhood and that type of thing. When you go into, so let's say now you're going to go back to the library and you're going to pull up all of the businesses, like office buildings and things like that, that are in the area or close to the off-ramp or whatever it is in the area. And you're going to make up a professional brochure, and that's what you're going to take to that company, and you're going to ask for the HR department, and you're going to go to the HR department if they have one, and you're going to ask if you can put those brochures in the lunchroom. Because you're close to them, their employees need what? Childcare. They want to keep it where the employees stay at their job. But you want it to look really professional. When you have your tour, make sure you have a nice little takeout package. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it's something they take with them. And they can go home and discuss it with their husband or wife. It can sit on the table while they think about it. That name's sitting there on that dining room table. You are in the top of their what? Mind. So think about that when you think about what's going to go in that package. And then you can do referral programs. So you can offer to your current clients, they already love you. But if they bring somebody, they introduce someone to you, and their child becomes another child in the child care center, then you give this person something. You give them $20, you give them $25, whatever. Okay, because if you give me something, I tend to what? Remember to do it. If you just ask me to do it, I may or not do it. Referral programs work very well. And anything that you give away, whatever that amount is, think of it as marketing dollars. You're not losing it. It's part of marketing dollars. It's part of your marketing budget. You can do an open house, a grand opening, and then of course a social media campaign. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But there's a lot of different ways. One of you mentioned, for instance, if there's schools in your area, what do you need to do there? Somebody tell me. There's an elementary school in my area.
Teachers need childcare.
You betcha. I've heard, right?
Families have siblings.
Yeah, I never knew, right? So yes, they may be too old, but guess what? They have a younger brother and sister, right? PTAs. Let the PTA know you exist. Because remember, I can't buy from you if what?
I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know you. If I don't know you exist, it's a done deal. I'm not buying. Okay.
Michelle just said in the chat, some schools will let flyers be sent home in Friday folders.
My large center used to give out things for Teacher Appreciation Week or bring food for parent-teacher conferences. And so therefore we were able to leave flyers because we were giving back.
Perfect. Find ways to get yourself in front of the people who either have children or know people who have children. Right? So you've got to make yourself available. So let's talk about this whole idea of touch points. Usually a company doesn't make one touch point and it works. It's usually, that's not enough. It usually happens to happen a minimum of 7 times. Okay, now touch points can come in a lot of different ways. Touch points are ways that I got in front of that client in some way, shape, or form. So when you do these touch points, those of you who have staff, your staff really needs to understand not only childcare, they need to understand they represent the company. They need to understand what the message is, what the value is, what the value proposition is, and understand that they are a marketing piece of this company. And the more, when you talk about incentive, I would guess that when you guys are at full capacity, you are likely going to keep them as an employee. That would be my thought. Okay. So bring all of them into that process. Let them know and understand how it's done. So how does your staff greet people? You know, how are they knowledgeable? Are they professional? Do they promote the brand in different ways? How does your center look? What's the first thing people see? Right? At your home, what's the first thing you want them to see? What's the first thing you want them to know? What exactly are you going to do for that child? What are you going to do for the parent? Do you allow the parent to, I don't know, do a check-in, right? And talk to their child. I don't know. What do you allow? Anything that works within your system that's going to allow them to stay connected. Okay. When the phone gets answered, does it get answered professionally? Hey is not a greeting. So how do we do that? What is it going to be? Anything that's offline, and that's direct mail, that's brochures, that's events, all of those kinds of things. Those are offline. What do they look like? Online. What do you want to show online? Who do you want to be in front of online? On your website, is it easy to navigate? What has prevented some of you from getting a website? Is there anybody here that doesn't have a website? Somebody tell me, does everybody have a website?
I have a
Courageous.
website. Oh, I'm sorry, Dawn, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, be courageous.
Yes.
I have a website, but I'm not confident with it at all. I know that there's a lot of tweaking that I need to do on it, and I'm really intimidated with it. I've asked, young people in my family to kind of help me out with it, and they just don't have the time to help me with it. And then I've asked, other people that are a little bit more savvy, tech savvy, and it just, we're not meeting up. And it's just not happening. So I do have one, but I think that it definitely needs to be cleaned up and looking a lot better.
So let me give you a solution. So Charlotte, I'll ask you now. We had a meeting yesterday. We had a consulting session yesterday. How did it go?
I loved it. I think I'm going to be doing a few more now.
Okay. Now, the other thing I told Charlotte, the deal is here we just talk about broad stuff, but in a consulting session, guess what we get to talk about? You, your business, your situation. It's also important for you to understand the SBDC has other consultants. Okay, so there are marketing consultants. So Charla, you're going to make an appointment with Peter. Okay. Hannah's going to take this information. Okay, going to have a meeting with Peter, and Peter can look at your website and he can give you some suggestions. He can help you see what is working and what he thinks could work better.
Okay.
Okay, so we have people who they help you with your marketing. They help you with your social media. We have people that can help you with your accounting, because all of you love it. So you probably don't need any help. I'm probably making that up. Okay. But they can help you set it up if you haven't set up something. They can't do the work for you, but we get to share screens, right? And so if you don't have a system that's a software, what I would say to you is make an appointment to see one of our accounting people, talk about what you do, and they can recommend the best software for you. Okay, especially those of you who have small centers. I know the bigger ones have systems and different things that also take care of that. Okay, but if you don't ask the question, you never get an answer. And where else are you guys going to get free consulting? Okay, so let's take advantage of it. Okay, so let's talk about how you make a great video. Okay, now if I say video to you guys, what happens? If I said I want you to make a video, how many of you would pass out on the floor? Okay, so if you think about how we get information, how many of you watch videos on Facebook? I watch every dog and cat video, I swear, that comes up. I do. I'm guilty. Okay. So it doesn't, in today's world, do we expect perfection?
Yeah.
No.
They want it real, right? So you can do a video with a smartphone. So they got better cameras than we used to ever have. Okay. You can, you want it short and to the point. You want it to have children in it. You want it to have activity in it. If you just type in, how do I make a stellar video? I'm going to tell you, YouTube is going to come up. And YouTube I found some great ones yesterday, okay, in how to put one together. When you put a video on your website, what does it do for Google? Google owns it. So what do they want? What drives Google?
It creates traffic.
It creates traffic, right? So, and they can just be fun. They can be informative. Now, do you want to, you're going to, if you don't want to shoot, like for instance, the kids themselves, you can shoot their feet running through the grass, right? So there's different ways to do that. All right. And you want to get, if you're going to use a child, you're going to want to get the permission of the parent to do that. We're going to do a little video. Would you mind if your child, participates? If they don't want it, you don't shoot that child. That's okay. Okay. But you want to see activity. You want them to see organization. You want to see the kids eating and having fun, right? So people pay attention to videos. So here's what you shoot in a video. Activities going on in the classroom. Yourself talking about school updates. I hate myself on camera. Okay, I swear I do. But once you start doing it, it doesn't feel as bad. Okay, and then you look at all the other people that are on video and they don't seem to mind being on video. Have you seen those shots of Walmart? I swear. So come on. So give yourself, talk about what's happening. That goes on your website. This is what we're doing next week. This is what's coming in. If you're not comfortable and you have a center, maybe you have a teacher that will explain what's going on in this classroom this week. So I want to be there. Give a parenting tip, an early childhood tip, a new book for parents to read, a new whatever. How do I do this? How do I do that? What's the best way to do? You can tell I'm a long ways from this. What's the best way to do a timeout or whatever it happens to be? You can answer frequently asked questions. On your website, even if it's not a video, you need a page that has frequently asked questions. And you are going to provide the answer. Okay? You can use a video to introduce a new member of the staff. Parents giving testimonials to your center are like the best thing ever. So all you do is you ask, and people will do this. You just say, would you mind doing a testimonial for, a person said, oh, I just love my, Bobby just loves coming. You're just awesome. You're just wonderful. Thank you. Would you mind doing a short testimonial for me? Could you do it on your telephone, right? They say, oh, since I brought Bobby here, he has improved XYZ. Miss So-and-so has made such a difference in his life. That 10 seconds goes on your website. It is not you telling them how awesome you are. It's the parents themselves. Who am I going to believe? I'm going to believe that parent. Okay? You can do it. You don't want to be in the video. You can do a tour, right? And take them through the facility. That goes in, or take them through your home. That goes on the website. So if you're afraid of doing cameras, you can do slideshows. These are really easy to do, okay? I know you can't hear it that well, but this is what it looks like. As a testimonial. Testimonial. Every one of those shots of kids was probably off of Google Images. Okay, so it wasn't even pictures of what?
Real
The kids.
kids.
That's right. Okay. And the video where you saw the little film going out, it was kids jumping and whatever. It was just their what? Their feet. And everything else, you didn't even have a voiceover on this. Everything else were testimonials from your current clients. It's not hard to do. There's all kinds of, whoops, I did it wrong. There's all kinds to do it. So if you're going to do the camera tips, remember that perfection is not required. Okay. You can write out a script. There are apps like teleprompter for video. So honest to God, if the teleprompter comes up, nobody can see it, you can read it. All right. Your smartphone replaces the need for a microphone. Here's some other tips in here. Smile. People love smiles. Slow down when you talk a little bit. And then practice, 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 and watch the footage. Because guess what? You can do it over again. You can change it again. You can play with it. So when you're doing a video, there are some free app, and this you'll have this presentation, but there's some free applications out there that you can get to use to do the video. Majesto, Wondershare, they're all free. And for what you guys need to do, you don't have to up to any kind of paid stuff. Okay. In everything you do, like at the end of that little slide share there, it was the information of where to connect, right? How to reach us, right? There needs to be a call to action. A call to action says, come join the center, book a tour, do whatever, get them to do something. Okay. But there's all kinds of technology. I didn't even know about some of this technology until I did Google this week. Okay, it's all out there for you. So in closing, marketing is not done. You must nurture the relationship with the customer by engaging parents in a variety of ways. Some of you do newsletters. You have some kind of special event. You could do a tea. When my grandkids were smaller, for years I did big tea parties, and I would have the adults, the women for the tea parties, but all the kids and grandkids came and they had their own little tea party, and I set them all out. We had silver, we did the whole thing. My granddaughter was of the age where she was in preschool, and she was so excited because her preschool was going to do a tea, and she was so on it because she knew the rules. And she had her hat, she had everything. She went that day and she came back and she says, those people don't know how to give a tea party. They did it all wrong. Okay, they served it on paper plates. She was very incensed that they did not know how to do tea parties. However, set up some events, set up some ways for people to stay connected. They need to stay connected to you. You can't sell them once and think they're going to stay. So here's some other resources I put in there. I also put in those of you who want to start to write out a business plan or even understand what a business plan is. You can click this and up will come a sample of a child care business plan. And then I encourage all of you to set up appointments with Dawn, with myself, with other people in the center, because I can't speak for Dawn, but I can tell you for me, I do this because I love to see people succeed. It makes me very happy when I see people live the dream and do what they've set out to do. And that's why I probably will never retire. What's that?
Talking to someone at our house. It's okay.
Oh, it's okay. Okay. So any questions, guys? I know, Hannah, we had some questions there that people sent in.
Yes. Let me
I'm
look at
going to
them.
stop sharing my screen here for a second. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, I'm just gonna look through real quick to see what ones you've already touched on. You did cover quite a few of these. Let me check. And if anyone has questions that came up during tonight that you didn't send in ahead of time, feel free to go ahead and voice those. Oh, this was a good one. And this might be for you, Nancy, or for you, Dawn, or if anyone else has things that have worked for them. But question is, what are some programs for communicating with parents? How do you choose the best fit for your needs and your budget? So what works best for
We're
everyone?
going to talk about that in the next week or two, the platforms that'll do that.
The systems, right, Dawn?
Yeah. So those are coming.
Great.
So that's a preview. So there you go on that one. Yeah.
Awesome. There's a couple questions kind of about like timing and scheduling. You know, how often should you be putting content out there if you're doing, you know, recurring marketing, things like that. If you have like a big opening for a center, some things like that.
Yeah, you guys are going to love this answer. It's like one of my favorite answers. It's called "It Depends." Okay. And really what you want to do is you can actually set out, and we can help you with this, but you can actually set out your marketing plan. So like, you know, if you use certain social media, do you post 3 times? So people say, well, what do I post? I can't think of that many things to post. Here's what you're going to post. You're going to go on and you're going to type in motivational quotes. And then you're going to go on to where you get the free pictures, and you're going to put those posts on top of those free pictures. And then you're just going to have a motivational day. On Tuesdays, motivational day, right? On Thursdays is educational day. Here's a tip on education. Here's a tip on childcare. Here's a, you know, whatever kind of thing. Okay. Anything that keeps you in the front and sends the message that you want to send. Okay, it's all in keeping with, you know, if your center is focused on creativity and fun, then you're sending out, for instance, activities that kids can do at home, right? Or a video on how they make something or whatever it is. So, and then when it comes to if you're going to do a grand opening, I will tell you, you're going to love it. I'm going to compare you guys to a microbrewery. Okay. So I had a microbrewery who was, it is improved, but a couple of years ago, it could take as long as a year from the time that you got your space. You had to have a space, and then you had to apply for a liquor license. And it could take up to a year to get that liquor license, which meant that you weren't making any money in that time you were building the space out and doing all of this. There was a couple I worked with that they have a microbrewery on Broadway in Denver, and it was going to be a neighborhood place, right? And so what they did, his wife was really good on Facebook, and his wife created their Facebook page. And then his wife started posting building a microbrewery. So there were pictures of them when they got their license out in front. And then there was pictures of them, you know, here's what happened today. The plumber came in and oh my gosh, it was worse than we thought. Okay, and here are the adventures of opening up a microbrewery. They went through where they were doing, got to pick our lighting, right? And they would have 3 different lights. You guys pick which ones you think we should pick. Well, I got to tell you guys, you can pick whatever you want because they're never going to know who won. And you're going to say, we did a drawing and so just got, you know, the first 10 beers free. Well, they're not giving it away until they open, right? And people got involved. And here they unveil their signage. What do you guys think? You know, all of this. When they opened up, people were lined around the block to come to that center or come to that microbrewery. You guys can do the same thing. if you're offering a new program, if you're opening a new space, you want to create excitement about the whole thing, because now you're part of the neighborhood. Just a thought. Other questions?
You know what? Can we give these guys a chance to go into their small groups and just touch base a little bit, so that they can have some conversations about the key point that they took away? Because I want you guys to get a chance to meet up with the people you've been meeting with. Just for 10 minutes, it's going to be real quick, okay? But key points that you took out of that presentation, and what's your action point? What are you going to work on for your program? Okay. So how was it so far? Good?
Good. This was motivating for me to pick the pieces back up and do it again. So I'm very grateful.
Fantastic. Business is a lot about keeping all the balls in the air, right? And sometimes you just drop them all and go, I need to walk away, and then you're trying to figure out how to pick them up again, right? Like which one to do first and that sort of thing. But I think that's great that you're now motivated to do that, Tina. Thank you. What did you guys, what's the key
and lots
thing?
of great techie kind of ideas.
Great. Yeah, we wanted to let you know, we were talking while you were in group, there are actual templates on like Wix and Weebly, all these different websites where you can just search for templates, and they'll have childcare program templates for the entire website already available for you to input your information.
They've made it pretty easy, guys. It's come a long way, baby, as they say.
I use Wix. It's pretty simple.
I built ours on Squarespace, and I don't consider myself a techie one iota.
I use Squarespace too, but I don't have the free one.
No, we pay for ours too.
Yeah, me too.
But I think we only pay like $17 a month or something. We don't pay a whole lot. You know?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think I paid for the year. Yeah.
And you can hook up Stripe to it. They can pay. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are
Wix
beneficial.
has a processing thing right built into it.
They
I
do.
mean, so for my sub-care agency, I send out a price quote, they approve the price quote, and then it sends them an invoice, and they pay the invoice, and it all just goes boom, boom, boom.
Because part of this is you want to make sure that how you collect money is simple. It can be integrated into your accounting, and then, the more steps you can cut out. So when you look at the price, say this system cost me X, you have to think about how much does it save you in all the time trying to do it piece by piece.
Yep.
And you have to weigh that value.
You guys work extremely long days, so I want to honor your time, and it is 8:31 right now. So if you guys want to talk to us any more about any of these things, sign up. I think this week I've got one more consulting session available on Saturday. Certainly more in future weeks, that sort of thing. So sign up and talk to Nancy, talk to Peter, whatever. Like we'll get you in touch with the right person to help you with that.
And Hannah's awesome with that. If you have any issues, she's like, I'm going to adopt her. I haven't told her yet, but I'm going to adopt her. Okay, just in case.
Nancy. Yes,
but yeah, so she can. But don't do this by yourself. There's no rewards anywhere in heaven or anywhere else for doing this.
If we could do this by ourselves, we wouldn't even be here.
Well, and looky there, I do not have any more spaces available this Saturday because the last one just got taken. But look me up next week. So, and I'll see if I can fit some more things into my calendar as well, just because I know you guys are evening and weekend type people and stuff. So I'll try and build some of that in for you.
What we might want to do is, and we can figure this out, we'll just take like I usually do Monday and Wednesdays, right? But maybe we take out one of those days and I do a Saturday. I don't mind. I'm at home. I don't care. Okay. So we can, maybe do a Saturday that's just for our childcare people.
Sure, yeah, we can connect on that, and I'll
And we
include
can
all
work
the
on
links,
that, maybe do that,
in
because
the
you guys,
email
it's hard
tomorrow.
for you guys with the kids and everything
Oh,
else
it's
to try to do
impossible.
it.
Yeah, no, it can't be during the day.
Can't
We
do
know
it,
that.
so
So-
like say, we can do a Saturday, I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, you guys go have, oh, wait, quizzes, right? Make sure you're taking your
Yes.
quiz.
Yes,
You do
remember
it,
you
Hannah.
have to do the quizzes to get the PDIS credit. I know you're sick of me talking about quizzes, but I want you to all get the credit. So it will be in the email tomorrow. It'll be in all the communications every week. But they're really quick, really easy. So please do those. Thank you for those who have. A lot of you already have. So look out for the email tomorrow. We'll have all the information. And I think that's it.
Is the quiz from last week is still gonna be up?
Yeah, they'll be up each week for the entirety of the course. So
Oh,
you have
okay.
some time, you know, if you need to go back to a previous week, they'll still stay active.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, ladies. Go do.
Have a great weekend.
Will
Take
do.
care.
Stay healthy.
Do some marketing this week.
Oh, I got some great ideas to work with. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Hey, Dawn.
Yes.
Thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Take care, Charlotte. Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.